Welcome to the Surviving to Thriving podcast, where we're dedicated to helping you break free from chronic inflammation and get your life back. I'm Dr. Rachel Yeager, naturopathic doctor and medical intuitive, and the founder of the Surviving to Thriving method of chronic illness recovery. Join me as we uncover strategies for overcoming health challenges and restoring your physical, mental, emotional, and soul health. Together, let's embark on a journey to thriving. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to talk to you candidly today about how to still heal while you're feeling a lot of chaos. I think there's a lot of collective feeling of chaos. I've been hearing that from so many people. I've felt that myself. The collective energy in the world feels really chaotic. And it also feels like life is a lot more stressful these days. And there's just a lot more for our minds and our brains to keep track of. So in the midst of all this chaos, how can we still heal and grow and become our best selves? I'm going to walk you through some of my practices that I use and just share a little bit about my story as a guide with this. Number one, this chaos feeling. I find that in me personally, when things feel chaotic, I start getting anxiety. I feel stressed. I'm not sleeping as well. My brain feels really scattered, and it feels hard to even remember to do something in a day that would take 2 seconds to do, but I didn't have that downtime and that mental space to process that I needed to do that thing. So when things feel really chaotic, I know that I'm in that chaos place because I feel like I'm not as productive. I feel like my brain can't focus, feel very scattered. And then I'll have times where I feel anxious or I'll feel low. My emotions also seem to vary more when things are feeling chaotic versus when things are feeling stable, which makes a lot of sense, but it's not necessarily something sad happened, so I feel sad. It's more like my emotions just don't seem as predictable when things are really chaotic. So with all of this chaos going on, I'm noticing that my mind is really affected. Physically, I'm affected too. I have more muscle tension. I definitely have more back pain, especially if I'm not having good posture that day. I'm definitely having a harder time sleeping, and I'm probably not going to be digesting my food as well as I normally would. I also feel like I get worse fatigue, and every day feels overwhelming. And then I would also say I probably have more feelings of inflammation in my body. So having this feeling of chaos and knowing that it's affecting me mentally and physically, and the feeling of chaos is overwhelmed and out of control. So naturally, we want to do something about it and not feel overwhelmed and out of control. But things do feel chaotic. So because we feel that way, it's hard to even start and do anything. So some of the things I do to help keep myself really grounded and help keep the chaos low is every morning when I wake up, and I will admit there's times in the winter when it's full of snow and I don't do this, but I step outside on my patio and I put my bare feet on the ground. And I just sit. I might have a hot tea with me. My dog comes out with me, Shirley. And I just sit there and I really think about my intention for the day. And I open a dialogue with my body. Because if I don't do it first thing in the morning, I might forget to do it later. And then the whole tone for my day is shifted. So healing happens when we are openly communicating with our body. So I'll literally talk to my body and say, hey, body, how are you feeling? I know we got really good sleep last night, or we didn't get good sleep last night. And I'll tune in and just ask my body, is there anything extra that you need today? And my body will let me know, usually by just a gut feeling, because I've been doing this for a really long time. But even just tuning into something like, am I thirsty right now? Am I hungry right now? Did I get enough protein today? Like tuning in like that in the morning opens that communication pathway. And when your body knows that it's being heard and listened to, and you have an open communication line, it doesn't have to scream at you with a megaphone. So if you were going to have back pain that day, instead of it being a 3 out of 10 with your body screaming, it's going to be a 1 out of 10. So usually whenever we open this pathway and we do this somatic work, we find that things don't feel quite as out of balance, and any unwanted sensations in the body aren't quite as strong, which I think helps with helping us feel grounded and helping us feel at peace. So mentally, I'm also wanting to feel at peace when I'm experiencing this. So I make a list of what are the things that I want to get done today. And when I make my to-do list, I'm trying to hold my really grounded frequency, because the way that I phrase the things on my to-do list is going to affect how my body shows up for them and therefore affect my healing. So I would say things like, okay, we get to take a little nice trip out of the house and go to this place today. I get to have time in the car while I'm driving to call my friend. I get to do this and this work meeting today. And so I'm really intentional with the words that I'm using as I'm making my to-do list. I go ahead and organize my calendar. I love Google Calendar so much. And I go ahead and put things in there in a way that's actually realistic. And if anything is unrealistic and I can't do it, so if I had the last minute vet appointment pop up and I can't also realistically draft a new lesson about the brain or something that I was hoping to do that day, then I will move off the stuff that I'm not going to get to realistically today, because I want to be present. I don't want to get things done for the sake of getting them done. I want to enjoy the journey, and it's not about the destination of me just getting things done. I want to have a good grounded day, because us being grounded and feeling that grounded, peaceful feeling is the medicine. That is the strongest thing you can do for yourself. So we're not trying to hurry stuff out of the way so then you can focus on healing. Healing is an everyday thing that's woven into everything that you're doing throughout your day. So I like to do that list and try to stay really grounded and talking with my body while I do that. I make breakfast and I make sure that I have high protein. So usually I'm eating some kind of meat. Just personally, that's the best way for my body to get enough protein. If it's a rare day where I do have coffee, I'm not going to have that till after I've had protein. I don't want to spike my stress hormone and start my day with my brain being in high stress mode for the rest of the day. I'm also not trying to get my neurotransmitters out of balance first thing in the day. So what that means is I'm really careful about the stimuli that I'm exposed to, especially within the first hour of waking. I'm not checking emails. I'm not checking messages. I'm not going on social media. I'm not checking the news. The first hour is no outside stimuli that could be really dysregulating. And so for me, that means I have actually timed my workday to start at a time where I'm getting enough sleep. I'm able to see the sun when I wake up and get that sunrise, so that can help sync my biorhythms. My body can see the sunrise. It knows that these are early sun rays because of the angle and the type of light that's in them. And so that really helps calibrate my biorhythm, which is really important and foundational for feeling well in your body and your mind. So I'm syncing my schedule so that I can have this hour where I'm really not having my neurotransmitters be stimulated. I don't want dopamine rushes, because that's going to set the tone for my stress levels and my body craving dopamine for the rest of the day. And it's like the calibration. Everything we experience in the first hour of waking, I feel like calibrates us for the rest of our day. So if we're starting fast with a lot of stimulation on social media, then we just put our brains in a fight or flight mode for the rest of the day. We also don't want to use up our dopamine because we want to stay motivated for the day. And social media is designed to stimulate our dopamine. So really hard line about not using social media in the morning because of all these reasons. Throughout the day, to stay grounded, I like to try my hardest to be able to go outside, move my body, or do a physical activity in between the appointments on my calendar. I have a little walking pad that I walk on that one of my clients recommended to me because she loved hers so much, and I really do like having that. So I have an adjustable desk so I can move it up and down for whatever I'm doing and whether I feel like sitting or whether my body feels like movement and walking. So I'm checking in with my body and asking which one it wants. And then in between appointments, I am trying to get outside. I play with Shirley and throw the stick in the backyard for a little bit. and just get some sunlight all day while I'm sitting. I have my UV filtered sun lamp shining on me. So I'm not getting any harmful rays, but I am getting the full spectrum. Most of these happy lamps are not the full spectrum. So I'm getting the full spectrum of light. And I really find that makes a difference for my mood and my energy and how good I feel throughout the day and just overall how my body feels. The more that I can help sync my biorhythms and fuel my cells, mitochondria, their energy factories with the right kinds of light, then the more my body's going to be able to keep up with any stressors that come at it during the day and the less inflammation I'm going to feel during the day. I eat at about the same times every day. I especially eat lunch at around the same time. That's another biorhythm. Our body is synced into what times we're eating at. So that's something I do have control over in the work I do. So I like to keep that really consistent for my body. During the afternoon, I'm usually, with my personal rhythms, I usually have about a couple hours after lunch, and then my brain is going to slowly start looking at, okay, what am I doing tomorrow? Shifting focus as the day goes on. So I allot some time toward the end of my day to think about what my day tomorrow morning will look like so that I'm not checking my calendar as I'm falling asleep at night. And that brings me into the evening. So eating a high protein dinner so I can get really good sleep and then winding down. There is no murder shows or murder podcasts. I am watching lighthearted stuff if I'm watching something. I'm wearing my blue light glasses and or using blue light blocking on the screen. Neither is 100%, so I like to use both. And even then, it can still be stimulating, so I'm paying attention. And if I've had a lot of screens that day, my body already feels stimulated, I'm probably not even going to watch something on a screen. So if I do watch something lighthearted, I make sure I have at least an hour after I'm done using a screen to wind down. The exception is I love to read to wind down. And so I have a Kindle that has a warm light setting, and then I have my blue light glasses. So I do love to read. I find that really helps turn my mind off. It's not something external stimulating me. I am the one pacing myself through the book versus TV is coming at you and you're consuming it. So it's a little bit different. It's different stimulation for the brain. So a lot of people say they like to wind down by watching a show that they've already seen before or something. And that's great, but that is still a little bit different feedback for your brain. For some people that works okay, for other people not so much. So I really like to read personally to wind down. And if I have any sleepy support supplements that I'm taking, I'll take that. And I have my house at night set at around 70 so I can sleep really well. In the winter, I do 68. And then I'm also making sure that I have a quiet and dark space. So I have blackout curtains that are doubled up in a way that I did myself, so they would actually block out the light without having a gap between the double bars on the curtain. And then we have our Air Doctor air filter running. And I love that because not only do I notice a difference with the air being really nice and clear, but I put it on the third speed and it makes a really nice fan sound. So every night I'm using that. I have a cervical pillow, so I'm making sure I have good flow so that my fluid in my brain and down in my spine can actually wash up and down, and the fluid can actually wash out and wash through my brain and carry all the waste out. So while we sleep is when our brain does its clearing. So I want to make sure I don't have my neck bent down or propped up on a pillow, and that it's actually in an equal line with my spine so that my cerebrospinal fluid can drain down into the cervical area of your neck and then down your whole back and go through its garbage cleaning process. Because we have to remember our cells are little factories. So they're having byproducts and metabolic waste, same way a regular factory would. So even if you feel like you're not getting a lot of outside toxin exposures, our cells are naturally making toxins when they make their waste byproducts, as they create energy, as they send messages, as they convert substances into another substance for us. They're working really hard all day. I don't Google anything about my health in this wind down period. Really, the rule I like to tell people is after 7 o'clock, no Googling your health. And I keep my brain focused on gratitudes as I'm falling asleep. what I'm grateful for that day, who I'm grateful for in my life, whatever it may be. And that's my wind down routine. That's my walk through the day. Things I'm doing throughout the day are I'm doing little brain scans where I check in to see what brain state I'm in, because that awareness and that open communication with your body is actually regulating in itself. I'm really grounding in to my intuition, and I like to really envision my soul self and remember that this is just the physical body that my soul is in, and that I do have a soul to nourish. And so I'm really connecting with my soul self and trying to live in a way that feels as soul aligned as possible every single day. Sometimes I definitely forget, but I really try to remember to be grateful for the food that I'm eating as I eat it. And because this is something that I was taught to do as I was growing up, I just thought it was just a thing that you just go through the motions for. And then I've rediscovered this in the past year where I just think about the sacrifice. I do eat meat in my diet. I find that really helps me balance my blood sugar and my hormones, and I'm not able to be healthy without eating meat. So I'm really thankful for the sacrifice of that animal for me to be able to get that protein and to live healthily. I'm really grateful for the farmers that were able to grow the produce. I've tried to grow my own produce in the backyard. I don't know how people make organic produce without pests getting it. I've tried everything and it's really hard. So I'm really thankful for the people that have mastered that and are making it available for me to get this food. And as I'm eating, I'm just imagining the food that's coming in, these building blocks, nourishing my cells and providing all of the little nutrients that my body needs to run all of its pathways to make energy and to make my feel good, relaxed brain chemicals and to make the inflammation go down. Everything that I want happening in my body as I'm bringing in these nutrients. The more relaxed I can be as I eat, then the more I'm going to digest and absorb the nutrients from my food, because my gut is actually going to be in better digestion. It's going to be secreting digestive enzymes. My stomach's going to be prepped to actually absorb the food, and I'm not going to have that indigestion feeling of something sitting in my stomach. And I would say probably the most impactful thing I do during the day, all of these things add up. If I had to think of the one thing that feels the biggest to me, it's everything that I go into, my interactions with other people, appointments I'm going to, whatever it is I'm doing during my day, I am showing up as my best aligned self. It's been really great to get all of the physical aspects behind my mental health and my energy and how I feel, get that all balanced, get everything nice and centered there so that I can physically feel a lot better, because it makes this part a lot easier. But showing up, knowing that whoever I'm talking to, whatever I'm doing, I'm keeping in mind my personal goals and my values, and I'm embodying the energy that feels true to me. And I'm being really purposeful with how I'm showing up and the energy that I show up with, because I want the way that I feel and the vibration that I feel and the alignment that I feel in my soul to be something that extends and permeates through everything in my life. My relationships, my work, my time with my family, everything that I'm doing. And that's what brings me the most peace, is knowing what my true beliefs are. I did a lot of work to filter out subconscious beliefs that weren't mine or weren't helpful, and showing up as my true self and feeling confident in myself, able to really love myself. And because I'm able to resonate with my own frequency of what I know to be true so strongly, that helps filter out and just immediately discern as I wade my way through the day. If I'm hit with messages, if I'm hit with advertisements and conversations with people, I'm not absorbing other people's way of looking at their life. I'm going to stay true to the way that I view my life and what I know to be true. So that's been the most peaceful and grounding thing for me, honestly. And that really came with reconnecting with my intuition and really connecting with that deep inner knowing part of myself. And I would say that is the biggest difference between myself now and myself probably 10 years ago, is even if I have a health symptom or if something crazy comes my way, I know that I have the groundedness and I have the center that everything will revolve around as I navigate this. I'm not free floating in space. I still feel anchored and I have a center that I've practiced coming back to, that I know where it is, that I know how to come back to. And I trust that I'll come back to center after whatever stressful event that dysregulates me happens. And I'm able to come back to that center. It's kind of like a magnetic pull. And that really allows for a lot of peace because we can't control what comes our way. We can't control what stressors are out there. We can only control how we react. And so I know I'm not going to have zero health symptoms in my life. Like I'm going to have health flares that come up, or I'm going to get a cold or whatever it may be. And if I rely on the absence of physical symptoms to feel okay, and I just want to get these symptoms gone so I can go back to feeling good, then I just gave up my control. And I am giving these physical symptoms so much power. And I'm taking away and minimizing my own power in this. Versus if I can have the steady calm in the chaos, be grounded in my mind, my soul, and my body, then I have that compass and I can navigate anything that comes my way. If I get a headache, even if in the past I had migraines every day, if I get a headache, I'm not going to freak out and automatically think like the way I used to that, oh my gosh, what if my migraines are coming back? Instead, I'm going to be able to address it in a really calm way. And staying grounded means that I'm able to actually give my body what it needs and keep that communication line open with my body instead of panicking and just acting. And when the communication line is open with my body, then I'm actually supporting and nourishing and loving my body as I might take a supplement or get some extra hydration or take a contrast shower or whatever it is I'm doing, versus going in a fight or flight panic and doing all those same things, but from a different brain state for a different reason that's more out of fear and wanting to solve the threat and avoid the feeling and just have it go away so I can go back to where I was before. So all of these shifts took me so much time. This is my passion now, is sharing this groundedness and this calm in the chaos that you can have in your mind, body, and soul, and the physical tools that you can use to help get there. Because even if we're thinking about grounding as being more of an emotional thing, we actually are very physically influenced. Ourselves, our physiology, our nutrients are all influencing that quite a bit. So I love bridging all of these things together and making it practical and having a step-by-step way for us to actually engage with this. I really love feeling peace. I love feeling joy again in my day-to-day. And that's my hope for anyone listening who doesn't feel like you have peace or joy, is that you can get to that place where that is your day-to-day experience and you're able to hold that in your body consistently as your center. I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Surviving to Thriving podcast. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights to support your journey towards better health and happiness. Remember, each health journey is unique. This podcast is not medical advice, and it's essential to consult with your healthcare provider before making any changes. If you'd like to schedule a complimentary consultation with me, I would love to talk with you. Please go to drrachelyeager.com/schedule.